Hello, everyone, and welcome to the day after recap show brought to you by irishsportsdaily.com. I am, as always, your host, Greg Flammang. I'm here a little bit later. Normally, I'm doing this in the morning, but had soccer, and my sister is moving, so I had to help her out, pack the U-Haul. So I'm here a bit later, but a lot of people here in the chat and already tuning in. So I appreciate everyone hanging in with me. Notre Dame 37, Pitt 15. We're going to talk about that game, whatever everyone wants to discuss about it. We'll talk about Notre Dame's place in the AP poll. They stayed at number 9, which I thought was a good chance that would happen. But obviously you never know with AP voters and things like that. Alabama lost last night, and so they fell one spot behind. They went to 10, and Oklahoma went up to 8. So Texas got run over by Georgia last night. So that really helped Notre Dame's cause. But we're going to talk about everything and whatever you want to talk about in the chat. So thank everyone for tuning in today. If you like what you hear, please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. So whatever it is, we are going live. As always, the show is brought to you by ESQ Clothing, founded by Notre Dame alum Ge Wang. He is Chicago's go-to for the best custom suits, shirts, and sport coats. He's Chicago's go-to for the best Black Friday sale around right now in the clothing space. 49% off using code ISD from now until Thanksgiving in the Black Friday sale. So the code's live, like I said, through Thanksgiving, not valid on custom items and gift cards. It's the season of gifting, and ESQ, they want to hook you up with something for your husband, father, son, nephew, and even the unlikable uncle, and you get them some style for the holidays. Known for their next-level craftsmanship using the finest fabrics, ESQ has introduced a 100% Pima cotton T-shirt to go along with its award-winning bamboo dress shirt, available for purchase online. Like I said, not valid on custom items and gift cards. Use code ISD for 49% off all online items from now until Thanksgiving. So Rajon says, where's Bama? Bama's so in the AP poll, Bama's 10. Bama's 10 and Notre Dame is 9. Oklahoma goes up to 8. I did see Alabama had, I think there was a post-game win expectancy of like 85% for Alabama. They outgained Oklahoma had 212 yards of total offense in the game. Didn't have very many first downs. They were 3 of 13 on third down. Alabama had the 3 turnovers that killed them. They had a pick 6 that killed them. Alabama, the thing is with Alabama, they can't run the ball. It's a real problem. They're just not a good running team. And so that's why I thought, not necessarily in the AP. I don't really know how the AP evaluates things, but I thought and we'll have to see. I don't know how the committee's going to do it, but I was thinking Alabama would fall behind Notre Dame because Alabama has a weakness, and the committee talks a lot about complete teams. And, you know, the reason that they've had Texas A&M ranked 3 vis-a-vis Indiana and Ohio State, who are also undefeated, the reason they've had them ranked 3 is because they've been talking about Texas A&M's defense and how they don't think it's as strong as those other 2 teams. I don't know that they would view Alabama's offense as complete as Notre Dame's right now. Notre Dame can run the ball for 175 yards or 183 yards against Pitt, taking away sacks. And then they can also throw for, 212 with their quarterback. And obviously he's been very prolific as a passer throughout the year. So I think that's kind of the differentiator. People get hung up on resumes and data points that way and all those things. The committee looks at how you're playing and the type of team that you are. So I think that's something to consider, when people project these rankings going forward. Billy Blue, thank you for being here. With a comment, Jen Cohen or Pat Narduzzi, who would you nominate for Clown of the Week? The thing with Jen Cohen is like she's in a sense doing her job, whereas like her job as the AD is to get the football team into the best position possible in order for them to win as many games and get into the playoffs as they can, right? So it doesn't befit Notre Dame and how Notre Dame wants them to treat the rivalry and that sort of thing, but it does. She is doing her job in that way. Pat Narduzzi is not doing his job when he gets up there and talks about how it doesn't matter because of the ACC and they got to get ready for ACC play. Like that's not doing your job. That's not doing a good job. That's not serving your team or your players. It just makes you look like a soft goofball. And that's exactly how it looked. And then at the end of the game, he wants to call timeout with 6 seconds left. And, obviously they scored the touchdown. Congratulations. You lose by 22 instead of by 28. Please clap for Pat Narduzzi on that front. Marcus Freeman doesn't really shake his hand. So it's a little bit disrespectful. As Jeremiah Love said, he felt like Pitt was disrespectful to Notre Dame, but he doesn't. He's like, I didn't use it as motivation. Just something I noticed, which is a good way to look at it, I think. Rajon says, thanks for doing this. How hope soccer went well. They tied. My daughter's team tied 2-2 this morning. It was number 1 versus number 2, essentially tied for first place. Both teams had the same record, both with all wins except for one tie. They tied 2-2. It was a very good game. Very good game. Both teams played really well. Isaac K says, about to rewatch the game. I was there. It was a good atmosphere for about 20 minutes. Yeah, I bet. Maybe not so much for the Pitt fans, but that's the way it goes. Isaac K says, people like to make fun of Notre Dame fans for being stuck up. Meanwhile, Pitt fans and ushers were yelling at Notre Dame fans to sit down during the game. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. It's nice to have the shoe on the other foot a little bit on that. Sim LTM says, my dream is Notre Dame goes to Texas Tech week 1 to give them and their mouthy coach a reality check. As we've seen, talking to Notre Dame in that way, about Notre Dame in that way is not a good idea. Marcus Freeman doesn't take kindly to that, and neither does the team. And it doesn't really bode well for, it doesn't lead to good outcomes for the opponent. So I don't recommend them doing that. Jason Z says, Bama goes to the SEC championship game if they beat Auburn. Yes, they do. They do go to the SEC championship game if they beat Auburn. I will say, if it's against Texas A&M, they will have a tough time if they can't run the ball. You do need to be able to run it because Texas A&M's got Cassius Howell who can rush the passer. They've got guys who can get after the quarterback. They're not as good defensively as Oklahoma is. Oklahoma is a very good defensive team. So there's that piece. And look, it's not like Alabama didn't move the ball. They turned the ball over and they threw pick sixes and that sort of thing. So, I don't know how good Texas A&M is, like in terms of historically, right? Are they unbeatable? Obviously not. Notre Dame was one play away from beating them. South Carolina was obviously up 30-3, and then they blew it because Shane Beamer is like not a good coach. But that's the deal. Rajon says FSU is a bad loss and OU loss was at home. Yeah, like the FSU loss is not good. It's not good at all. They are not a good football team. And OU losing at home, you don't need to be doing that, especially when the opponent has 212 yards. You kind of gave the game away. Pat Subkowski says, can we take a moment to appreciate Jeremiah Love? He's the greatest player I've seen at Notre Dame. I'll miss him next year. This is when you start to kind of count down the number of games you get with a player you get to root to it for a player like that. It was kind of clear last year during points, like because of his skill set and what he can do and, his breakaway ability, the fact that he ran so hard, he would run inside. He has really good feet. He picks the holes really well, very versatile in the passing game. Incredible athlete, like breakaway speed. Everything that you want, basically. He's being compared to Reggie Bush at times. He's being compared to Jahmyr Gibbs at times. He's just a superstar, and it was one of those things where when he came to Notre Dame and you look at the skill set and you think, well, this could be a great player. I think the fact that the breakaway speed is something that you saw on tape and you knew you could project that forward. Obviously, that's really good. The athleticism, you could project that forward. What you couldn't really project forward is his toughness, his willingness to lower his shoulder and to get tough yards. And obviously the blocking. His pass blocking has been really good this season. His run blocking has been really good. If you watch him on the quarterback counter, that the last touchdown of the game, CJ Carr ran it in on 4th down. it's Jeremiah Love leading the way, and he takes out a safety or whoever it is, and he just basically runs him over. Like the safety doesn't want any part of the play. And that's just part of what Jeremiah Love does. He's a superstar. I mean, just plain and simple. It'd be real hard for Notre Dame to get a back as complete as he is. He barely ever fumbles. He's not a guy that puts the ball on the ground. That's not part of his game. It's so, you do appreciate it. And I don't think anyone takes it for granted, but if you get a chance to talk about it, then we should, because he's, I think, the best running back the school has ever had. They've had a lot of good running backs, but I don't know that there's been a combination of his ability before. So it's just, he's a special football player. He's over 1,000 yards now this year, and they've got two opponents that aren't going to be, they're not very good defensively. So Notre Dame's, he could do numbers in the last few games. So hopefully it's going to be fun to watch. And there's a good bit number of games ahead for Jeremiah Love and Notre Dame. Jason Z says, call me biased, but if you just watch these teams, best playing ones right now are Ohio State, Georgia, and Notre Dame. Irish can go toe-to-toe with everyone in the top 12. I would agree with Ohio State. Georgia's interesting to me. I was looking around on Twitter yesterday as the game was happening and just kind of taking in. Like, I don't think Georgia has looked this good for a lot of the time this year. It seemed like people were like, this is the best game they've played in a while. So their fans were impressed by the game, and I don't know that they've been at that level. They looked very impressive last night for sure. I mean, just even in the passing game, I thought they were really strong, and the physicality that they played with is obviously evident kind of all the time. But I think their passing game was able to get the ball down the field a little bit more. They still don't run the ball as well as I feel like they could, so that's kind of something. But yeah, they look good. I mean, Ohio State obviously looks great. Ohio State, I was talking. So last night I was with my brother-in-law. He's an Ohio State alum, and he was talking about the season. And it's just like, man, they open with Texas and they haven't played anyone good. I mean, Penn State. It's unfortunate that Penn State. It's unfortunate for their schedule that Penn State ended up being a lemon. So that doesn't look good for schedule-wise. But after the Texas game, they haven't really done anything. They haven't really played anybody, and that's just kind of up to the schedule makers, right? Like, and I'm not gonna get on in Ohio State for how the schedule was set up for them by the Big Ten. I mean, you schedule out of conference Texas, right? Like, that's obviously you're giving yourself a challenge to open the season. So I'm not gonna get on there for that. But I mean, obviously they look very good. I think Indiana. I mean, I'm not gonna overlook Indiana. I mean, they continue. They're like in barely any close games. Penn State, I mean, obviously it's a road game. These things happen. They did have a close-ish call against Iowa. So, there's that piece, but I mean, they haven't lost. I would put them up there. After that, I kind of agree. I mean, obviously Texas A&M, Notre Dame's played them before. Like that's a give and take kind of game. But after that, I don't know that there's any team. I mean, I think the teams that scare me are definitely Ohio State because of those wide receivers. I mean, that defense looks really good. I mean, they've got some guys back. Caleb Downs is obviously back. Sonny Styles is back, and they've got Arvell Reese is the linebacker there who looks really, really good. So they've got a very good team. So Ohio State would scare me a good bit. I don't know if Indiana would scare me per se, but I mean, I respect them as a good opponent. That would be a very difficult game for Notre Dame to win. And then the thing is, Alabama, they can't run the ball. Like I can't get over that. I can't get over that. Chris Wall says Georgia's defense looked the best it has this season last night for sure. That's definitely true. Vamos Irish says they're going against Texas, right? They're a little bit limited. Texas hasn't been good offensively pretty much all year. And that's the deal with them. Patrick Nolan says the CJ celebration before the spin move was epic. Yeah, I mean he likes to do the thing where there's that meme, that gif of Nick Young when he celebrates the ball in the basket and he does this thing and the ball's rimming out in the background. CJ has a lot of those. He thinks that he thinks like every time Jeremiah Love breaks like through the line, it's going to be a touchdown, and it isn't. But he's ready to celebrate with the team. Patrick Nolan asks, who do we think will be completely healthy for the playoffs should Notre Dame get there? So this is just my impression. I think Shrouth will be back. I think. I don't know. But that's my impression. I think that they are going to ramp him up starting now. And then you've got till basically December 19th. So they have, I mean, he would have 6 weeks from injury to, I mean, almost 2 months, frankly, because it happened against USC. You'd almost have 2 months for him to get ready to go for the playoffs. So I think Shrouth will be back for that. That would be a big deal for Notre Dame. Because I was thinking about this last night. Like, what is going on with the running game? And I think that a lot of the, I've been the running game and the idea that Denbrock is, we feel like are not calling the best games. And Jamie and I were saying sometimes we feel like Denbrock is protecting CJ Carr. And I think we might have it more so that he's trying to protect the line and make it so he's not putting as much on them as he normally would. Because there is an inconsistency to Notre Dame's offense right now. And I think what you see and what we are seeing is with Otting and Absher now next to Lambert. Like, I don't think that we have kind of put together the importance that Otting not playing next to Shrouth is having an effect on Otting in a way where it's like we're looking at Absher and Shrouth in isolation, I guess. And we're kind of grading how Absher is playing versus how Shrouth is playing. And obviously Shrouth is playing at a higher level, but I don't know that we've given enough thought to how Absher or how Shrouth being out of the game affects Otting. Because Otting played very well against USC when Shrouth was next to him. And then since then, it's been a little bit worse. And I wonder where, how much of that has to do with Shrouth. And obviously it has something to do with it. You'd rather be playing next to him. Whereas like Absher is not at the point where it's like he's able to lift up the people next to him. He's not really able to lift up Joe Otting in that way, which isn't his fault, right? He's new into the lineup. But I think that combination is hurting Notre Dame. And like when you watch the Jeremiah Love, the first touchdown run, like it's obviously a great run, but it's also perfectly blocked. And Notre Dame has reps on the offensive line where the blocking is very good, like immaculate blocking, right? And then they have reps where it's like they're missing blocks and they're turning someone loose and it's just ugly and the play's dead on arrival, right? And I think that's the inconsistency that we're seeing from Notre Dame's offense. And I think we're also seeing the difference between like Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price too. Like Jeremiah Love can mitigate poor blocking in a way that I don't know that Price can. If you block it up right for Price, he will gash you and he will like destroy your defense. But if it's kind of ugly back there, I think Jeremiah Love is more equipped to deal with the situation when it's like, hey, I got to make someone miss. I mean, obviously, right? He turns a 5-yard loss into a 48-yard touchdown. And so that's kind of like under the fourth down play where they run the ball and it gets kind of blown up in the backfield and he just outruns everyone in the corner. That's something you get with Jeremiah Love that I don't know we're getting right now from Jadarian Price. He hasn't been super efficient since the USC game, and that happens to be when Billy Shrouth went out of the lineup. So something to monitor there. But so I think Notre Dame will get Billy Shrouth back for that. I don't know what to make of Gabe Rubio, to be honest. We've heard elbow. We've heard it's not. I mean, maybe there was like a dislocation of that elbow. What does that mean for him? I don't know. I would like to think that he could get back for the playoffs, given the amount of time. I've given up hope on Jagusa. I don't think that's going to be a thing this year. I do think Greathouse will play in the playoffs. I do think he will. That's a lot of time for a pulled muscle, thigh, hamstring, whatever it might be. I think he'll be back. So, and that's I don't know who else. Who else am I thinking of here? Cooper Flammang might be interesting. I don't like that he's like not even practicing now. I feel like that was too. I feel like that was too soon for him. So we'll see on that. I don't know that there's another injury there that we need to be thinking about. So if there's anyone, please put it in the chat, and I will we'll do that. We'll talk about that. Justin Indy Sniper says, did UGA beating Texas make it a lock that Notre Dame is in at 10-2? I know it's been likely for a while, but could anything keep us down, keep us out now? There's probably some scenarios that are maybe not even worth discussing until like later in the year. Obviously Notre Dame losing, but beyond that, it certainly makes it better. If Texas had won, then you'd be concerned of that. Because I don't know if USC were to beat Oregon, I think that would knock Oregon below Notre Dame, because Oregon has low key not had a great year in terms of wins, and so then that's like a really good win for USC, and so they would jump up, and obviously then Notre Dame has their win against USC starts to look better and better, and Oregon would have to be behind Notre Dame at that point, because Oregon lost to the team that Notre Dame beat, and both of those games are at home, so there's not that. So I think they're in a good spot. And if you look at their betting odds to make it, they're like minus 500 to make the playoffs right now, which is like pretty close to a lock from the betting point. So Isaac K says, can we say Malachi Fields is better than Claypool at this point? It's hard because we don't have the let me see if I can pull up PFF right here. We don't have he just doesn't get the volume that Claypool does, but it's the same kind of deal. And plus Claypool had like a bunch of run after catch stuff as well. And we're talking about the 2019 season. Claypool had just like a ton of volume in 2019, but like we're starting to see the point where if you throw it up to Fields, you feel like he's going to catch it. And I feel like all the jump balls that he's missed or that have been thrown to him that have been missed are just kind of like errant throws by Carr. I don't. Whenever I see, I feel like when they throw him a fade ball or when they throw him something in the end zone, I feel like, it's too far. Like, you got to give him a chance. And I just don't see him missing those. I'm just going to look up his stuff. All right, Malachi Fields, he has 32 catches, like basically 59% catch percentage to Fields. He's got 5 touchdowns now, 32 for 596, 18.6 yards per catch. Let's look at his contested catches numbers. He's 10 of 18, so 56% on that. Let's go to Claypool in 2019. Claypool, 61% catch percentage, so we're talking 61% versus 59%. 13 touchdowns, 15.7 yards per catch. Let's look at the contested catches for Claypool. Have I passed it? No. Claypool was 15 of 26, so 58%. So we're talking like 55% versus 58%. Claypool had 7 drops. Does Malachi Fields have? Malachi Fields has 1 drop. The one drop against Navy on a kind of a nothing play. So, I mean, it's close. I mean, he's definitely got some. He's definitely got a case for it. I mean, I think if it gets more volume, we could get to that point. I don't know if we're there now, but it's getting close. I mean, if he starts making one-handed grabs like that, that's we're gonna have to monitor that. Jason Z asks, oops. Where'd it go? The chat gets messed up sometimes, and then I have to go back and find it. Oh, this is so annoying. Jason Z asked a question. Here we go. 0 Big 12, he said. Texas Tech any good? They have a very good defense. I know that. They've got like a linebacker Rodriguez, I think is his last name. He's like having like a Manti Te'o type season. He's got 4 picks as a middle linebacker, and 4 picks as a little middle linebacker, and they use him in like Wildcat, and he's now like running in touchdowns, which is something that Notre Dame could have done with Manti because he did that in high school. So yeah. Justin Undy Sniper, even though they're still high school players, still watching Javion Osborne and Jonas Walton makes me think Notre Dame could have another elite tandem coming soon. Yeah. Should be very excited about those 2 players. Should be very excited. The Shrubber. Thanks for being here, the Shrubber. How about Josh Burnham starting to flash? Could be a big addition. 100%. 100%. He was great yesterday. Had another 2 sacks. He's really ignited. I mean, he was talking about he had an adductor strain, which is basically like your groin, but it's lower down. So it's not technically the groin area. It's like the inner part of your leg. What it is. So they're not like terrible injuries. And the fact, I mean, he played through it. So it's like one of those things that you can obviously play through, but it is limiting, so that's, that's something he's just got to deal with on a week-to-week basis. But yeah, I mean, he's started to really come on for Notre Dame, and that's a big deal because it puts less pressure on Bryce Young too. And Bryce Young did some good stuff and in this game, and I think he still has a lot to give to Notre Dame. So that's important. Rajon says Traore and Bryce Young in pass defense. Kudos to Chris Ash. Yeah, I mean, he got those guys dropping. I mean, he dropped Traore on one play, and then that was when Devontae Smith came untouched on a nickel blitz, and Smith missed the sack, as happened a lot yesterday. I mean, they had 4. I think they could have had 8. I mean, they could have doubled it. That's how often they were getting into the backfield. So I thought it was a really good scheme against Pitt yesterday. I mean, it was a great defensive performance altogether. SPND 92 says, how much is the height of the guards hurting in short yardage running plays? I don't know. I mean, I think you're discussing like, because Absher is very tall. He's like 6'7". Gerby is about 6'7" as well. He's talking about getting low, I think, is what you're getting at here. It could be a factor in terms of getting push. I mean, we talked about on the show yesterday that the goal line, coming out of the goal line, they did a quarterback sneak that wasn't very convincing at all. So we might be concerned about Notre Dame getting low. Maybe you want someone 6'2", 6'3". Could be a factor. Maybe that's something I could broach with Jamie. I don't really see that, but it's something to consider. Jason Z says Christian Gray looks back to 100%. Watches blocking on the PAT interception return. Jason Z, good job by you pointing that out. I was about 45 yards. I was going to make a video about this. 45 yards. Christian Gray blocks number 3 down the field. What an effort. And you know what? It's a callback to the USC game last year on Christian Gray's pick 6 when it was a Don Schuler up the sideline paving the way for Christian Gray to go all the way. This time it's Christian Gray up the sideline blocking number 3. I don't know his name, for 45 yards down the field. And that player never touches a Don Schuler, never makes a play. Also want to point out on that play, Jason Onye, terrific effort. And here's another thing, right? And I was going to make a video on this. On the interception that CJ Carr threw that got returned to the 12. And this is the sort of thing that like gets pointed out in film all the time. And it's one of those plays like no one breaks down because it's like, it's not really scheme or anything like that. But like I always watch like Gerby Lambert, like fighting off a block to not make the play or make the tackle, but to ensure that the player has to keep weaving in and out of the defense and cutting back so players can come back. Joe Otting is reaching for him earlier in the play, falls down, gets back up, and comes up to make the tackle. Jordan Faison misses him initially, gets up, chases him down again, and make sure he weaves and he tries to punch the ball out. He misses him, but like all of that effort, like you have Emil Wagner getting back, you have Anthony Knapp getting back, like CJ Carr runs back and ultimately makes the tackle. Like, those things matter, because at the end of the day, Pitt doesn't score a touchdown. They end up kicking a field goal. Like, that really matters. And so as a coach, that's getting pointed out in film. The guys who are running back, I was so impressed with Gerby Lambert's hustle on that play. Just a great hit and hustle play. Great hit and hustle by him. Great hit and hustle by Joe Otting. Emil Wagner getting back. Anthony Knapp getting back. Like, Jordan Faison, like, running back and making sure. So it's a lot of great effort on that stuff. And I like to highlight that because it goes a long way. We talk about like winning plays and winning habits and that sort of thing, and how it affects the game outside of the box score. Like, that sort of stuff is just overlooked because you can't quantify it, so no one really talks about it. But that's the kind of stuff that just, like, it matters. And I like to point it out whenever I can, because where does culture show up? Where does culture matter, right? When can you point it out? Like, that is the stuff. Blocking up the sideline for your teammate who's on a 2-point conversion attempt, right? Which goes a long way towards winning, right? It goes a long way towards the pick six ended up being just a +4 play for Pitt instead of a +7 play. Like, that's 3 extra points, or 3 points that you just got from your opponent that end up on your side because, you're hustling, right? And that is that's the secret sauce that everyone likes to talk about. You always want to have that special something in your football team and in your chocolate. You want a special something. You want a secret sauce. And you got to find a recipe that's been out there for 100 years, hundreds of years. You've got a recipe that works for everyone. They have that over at Goods Candies. It's a small Indiana-based chocolate company with recipes going back nearly 100 years. They're a small batch producer of decadent confections ranging from toffee to cream centers to their latest offering, peanut butter bombs. When you're eating these candies, they like to say, oh, you never know what you're going to get. Goods Candies wants you to know what you're getting. Its cream centers have a unique design, so you'll always know what's waiting inside. All varieties are offered in milk and dark chocolate. For the business listeners, Goods Candies offers customized chocolate bar gift boxes. They're not customized wrappers like you get at the bank. These are customized chocolate bars that can include your logo or a message. These make the ideal client gift, and Goods Candies can handle all shipping for you. The website is www.goodscandies.com. Viewers can save 20% through the end of the year with promo code ISD. Place your order online or reach out to Goods Candies at goodscandies.com with questions. Sim LTM says, Herbstreit on the broadcast last night said Notre Dame is in. They're a lock. 11 spots left to figure it out. Thank you, Herbie. Thank you, Herbie. Noah D768. After this year, what position should Notre Dame target in the portal? Definitely wide receiver. Definitely wide receiver. They're just gonna have to do that. Like Gilbert, I like that they put him in and they threw him the ball on 4th down when the game still mattered. I like that. I like the faith that they put in him. But it's like his injury makes it hard. They're gonna have to get another number 1 in there. I think Greathouse is coming back. I think the plan is for him to come back, and so I don't know. You're gonna want to grab a slot. I know they like Logan Saldate. I know they like Elijah Burris. I know they like KK Smith. Did I mention Saldate? I don't know if I did. Obviously, they like Faison, and you got the freshman coming in as well. So that's going to be something to monitor. Like Caden Finley, can he play as a freshman? But you're going to get at least one wide receiver out of the portal. Can Cam Williams ascend? That's going to be an important conversation. And they should be able to get a good number 1 because, you got CJ Carr on your football team. So beyond that, I wonder if they go running back. Like if Hollywood Smothers calls you up and is like, hey, I kind of want to play for your football team, you going to tell him no? And I might not tell him no. I mean, are you willing to lose someone like Aeneas Williams for that? That's a question, because Hollywood Smothers has multiple years, right? And like, can you get him into school is another question. But the running back portal situation we'll be monitoring. Probably get someone on the D line. Definitely not a defensive end, but someone on the D line. I don't know that you need to dip into for like a nickel. I don't know that you need to do that. I think they like Dallas Golden there. Golden's got to get bigger. Zachary's got to get bigger, but you can bring Gray back. You can bring Leonard Moore back. Obviously, your safeties can come back. I don't know that you need to dip. Luke Tolich can play there. I know they like the freshmen, right? You have Zachary. They like Cree Thomas. Cree Thomas got in the game yesterday. And then you have Kari Adams and Joey O'Brien coming. Like, do you need to bring in a portal guy to play over those guys? Like, Kari Adams is probably going to come in ready to go from a physical standpoint. So I don't think so in the secondary. And for kicker, you better get a kicker. And, you know, like, look, this Schmidt situation, it's like, you got to be able to, you know, get this figured out. You got to get it figured out. It's not good right now. Rajon says, was Notre Dame purposely forcing Pitt quarterback to his left? He had trouble squaring up the throw. Good question. I didn't pick up on that. I think he scrambled to his left a lot. I think they were just trying to send people. You know, he scrambles where he scrambles. But it's interesting. We could talk to Jamie about that tomorrow. Justin ND Sniper says, what about Logan Thomas? Have you heard anything about whether he's making strides towards getting on the field? I think they've always liked him, and I think they've always liked his ability. He's just playing a position that A, has a lot of talent, and B, has a lot of experience. It's just hard to get him on the field. He's got to gain weight, too, just generally speaking. He's got to gain some weight. Vamos. Oscar says, does Notre Dame still lead the nation in interceptions after the end of the week? Let's check. Someone might find this before I do, but we can check on that. National. Interceptions. Nope, they've been caught. Southern Miss has 20. Maryland has 18. Notre Dame has 17. So Notre Dame is third in interceptions now. Louisiana Tech has 5 touchdowns off interceptions. Notre Dame only has 1. Only 1 for Notre Dame. 5 pick sixes for Louisiana Tech. Killing it. Who's their secondary coach? Doing a good job there. Isaac K says, at least now we can see why Notre Dame goes in to sneak it. They got to be able to sneak it for like a half yard, right? You should get a half yard every time. You can't no gain on a quarterback sneak, man. It's unbecoming. Figure it out. Yeah, Eric Endy says the goal line sneak out of the end zone was sad. It was sad. I'm sad about it. Isaac K says, I don't like to get on Denbrock because obviously he knows what he's doing, but the throw to Raritan was terrible. The fourth down thing, you just can't. I can't call it. Can't call it. Please don't call that. It's an it. You have to go 6 inches. You have Jeremiah Love. You want him to win the Heisman. Give him the ball. If he gets stopped, he gets stopped. The thing is like, if you have to make that throw to Eli Raritan and it's incomplete, everyone's going to be like, why are you throwing the ball? Everyone's going to say that. Why are you throwing it? What are you doing? If you run it with Jeremiah Love and he doesn't get it, well, then it's like, well, hey, man, you gave it to your best player. What are you going to do? Like, if you're going to be stopped giving it to your best guy. The rollout thing is just, I can't do the rollout. All right, we got DT, kicker. We're looking at some portal stuff. Greg Wasserman says, this is a good call. Greg Wasserman says quarterback Minchie will transfer. I think they do need to get a quarterback in the portal. Depending on how they feel about like Blake Hebert, which I haven't heard. They're like, yeah, he's going to keep Notre Dame from going. They need to get someone, preferably someone with multiple years, who can take over for CJ Carr after he's done. And someone broached the topic of like Deuce Knight. If you can get him in school, then I would do it. It's like it's not like Julian Sand because he's younger, but it's like Dante Moore. Julian Sand hasn't been at he's a redshirt freshman like CJ Carr is, but he was at a different school. Like Quinn Ewers, it can happen. It works, right? You get a guy in a bad situation, get him in a better situation. I'm not saying Deuce Knight is actually a possibility. I don't know that that's true, but I'm just saying, like, that route is viable, is what I'm trying to say here. They can do that. Isaac K says, not related to anything, but my dad got to be on the sideline during the game and got pictures with Jerome Bettis, Kirk Herbstreit, DK Metcalf, John Gruden, and a selfie with J Love after the game. Good job. Good job by your dad. Sounds like a great day and a great experience that he'll remember for a long time, hopefully forever. So that's very cool. It's great to be on the sideline and watch a game like that. That's very, very good. Chris Wall said, would be the leader if it weren't for the refs in the Boise State game. Yeah. Yep. Vamos Irish says, Raritan stepped out of bounds on the perfect opportunity to score a touchdown. He ruined his own chances. This lack of attention to detail thing drives me crazy. Drives me insane. He did it 3 times where he's just on the sideline. Get away from the sideline, man. Be aware. He's walking into the end zone. He steps out of bounds. Notre Dame ends up scoring on 4th down, but you're taking touchdowns away off the board, your own touchdowns. By the way, that was great blocking by Will Pauling. If you check out that screen pass to Raritan, gets in there. Robert Hallecky says, hi, all, super late. Boy, Pitt fans are the worst. Now everyone we play isn't playing their best players and resting them because it doesn't matter. That man. Pat Narduzzi. Oh, God. People are so, people talk about the younger generation is soft. Meanwhile, you've got this boomer, older guy being this game doesn't matter. It's all about the conference. It's ridiculous. So ridiculous. Rajon says, don't discount Hebert. Okay. Rajon is the king of Hebert Island. Maybe he's good. We don't know. Robert Hallecky says, Tyler has finally given up the anytime touchdown, so he will score next week. Tyler? What Tyler are we talking about? Maybe this is a Raritan thing. Stoic Behavior says, Pat Narduzzi is Dave Wanstedt 2.0. Yeah. I don't remember the Dave Wanstedt era too much in terms of his demeanor, but I feel like he was a little bit more normal. Narduzzi, goofball. Terry Tyler says Marcus Freeman looked pissed off about the last touchdown. Obviously he was. He doesn't like that Notre Dame scored. I bet you he wanted 37-9 because the other thing is Notre Dame's defense was winning the game. Notre Dame's defense was up 9-3 in the game. Pitt had 3 points off a field goal, and they had a pick 6, so the defense didn't give up anything there, and they ended up scoring on that. So they had the pick 6 of their own, and then they had the 2 points, so it was 9-3, and the last touchdown made it 9-9. The defense had as many points as the Pitt offense did. And it's he wanted them to Marcus Freeman wanted 37-9. That's what he wanted. He didn't want to give up a touchdown. So Marcus Freeman was upset, right? He definitely was. And he was mad at the timeout. And then Notre Dame sent pressure. I bet you he was as upset at the fact that Notre Dame sent pressure, didn't get home and gave up a touchdown. I guarantee you he was mad about that. And so it's he's, I was upset about that. It annoyed me because it's dude, you could 37-9. It looks so much better than 37-15, right? So, Tyler from Locked On, is it anytime touchdown? Did he give up? Did he give up on that? The anytime touchdown for Eli Raridan? Is he doing that? I need to talk to him. Tyler's a good friend of mine. I need to talk to him about that. Michael Hahn says Narduzzi is talking like Bo did when Michigan and Notre Dame would play. Bo has always said this is a non-conference game and won't prevent us from going to the Rose Bowl. Of course, he was totally lying. Yeah, I mean, people are always trying to. People are always trying to minimize Notre Dame for reasons that are unknown. It is what it is. It's a very common thing. Blayberg says Narduzzi is absolutely ridiculous. However, it makes college football so great. You need more characters, good or bad. Sterile sports boring. Fair. That's a fair take. Like Steve Spurrier, right? Like he's a fun guy. Like to that end, like Lane Kiffin, awesome, right? It's great the way that he is, and just like how he's kind of like just trolling all the time. And then the funny thing about his trolling is it's like lighthearted trolling. It's like not mean-spirited. He's kind of taking shots in a way that is not important. No one really cares, like it doesn't really matter, but it's fun, and it's fun to be a part of, and that's college football, right? And so you do need characters. I mean, Mike Leach was like this, R.I.P. He was like that. He added to that. It's good to have characters in the sport and people you can kind of like make fun of or whatever the case may be. And that's Narduzzi. Like I don't know that he leans into it, but he is who he is. And that's a good thing. Terry Tyler says Notre Dame dominated the whole game. They absolutely did. They dominated without getting like a very efficient offensive performance, which is just kind of indicative. Like this is a great football team, right? I mean, knock on wood or whatever, Notre Dame's going to go through the regular season winning every game by double digits, probably. Like I think they're going to handle Syracuse, and they should very much handle Stanford. And so you win every game by double digits, you're good, man. Like you're a good football team. And I always make the case that you have control over the way that you perform. You don't have to blow teams out. You know how they say like winning is hard or whatever? Doesn't have to be hard if you go whoop on everybody. And this is the main difference between like these teams, especially 24, 25, and then like teams in the past, like even in 22, 23. It's like they don't have those stinkers. The 24, 25 teams don't have those stinkers, right? And, not to compare to, BK or whatever, but like that era is like there were games when Notre Dame would just look awful, or where they would just have a bad performance. And like Marcus Freeman's teams, like they will blow you out. I mean, they will beat you up. And that's the thing about Narduzzi too. Like he probably watches film and is like, man, that's what makes you go out there and subconsciously have a conversation about like, hey, like we don't actually have to win this game, right? Because in your mind, it's subconsciously, it's like we're in trouble. Like we're in trouble with these guys. I mean, everyone watches film, and there's a thing for me. And again, when we made our predictions about the Pitt game, everyone on our site predicted a blowout, not just a win, but a blowout. And members of the site were kind of like, are you sure about this? Like, I don't know, we're that confident about this. And the thing about watching games and watching tape is when you watch it, and especially when we get all 22, when you watch all 22, there's something about it with like you can't hear anything. There's no volume or anything. You're just watching plays over and over again. So you get a sense for how a team is playing. Like that's, to me, that is like the eye test or whatever. And the eye test on Notre Dame is just like, man, these are really good teams, or that this is a really good team that's playing, and they're just dominating their opponent. And so that's kind of where I'm at with this team. Is like they are good, and it has nothing really to do with Pitt and how good they might be with their new quarterback or whatever. and the new system they have. They're scoring 40 points a game since Mason Heinzel took over, and then Notre Dame holds the offense to 9, right? Or 10, I guess. They would have kicked the extra point. They're just good. Notre Dame's a good football team. And that is the part where I think a lot of the pundits or whatever, like they're missing that. They're missing that. Like Chris Fallica, right? When he made a tweet about, Notre Dame. What was the tweet? It was kind of dismissive of Notre Dame, like the teams that they've played or whatever it might be. It's like, and he's like, Notre Dame went from an underrated team to an overrated team. What have you seen about Notre Dame makes you think this team is overrated? What have they done in the past in this 8-game winning streak where you look at them and say, you know what, they're actually overrated? They're not actually 9th best in the country. They have something like they are worse than their numbers suggest. In what way is that true? What can you point to? Like, I don't know where you can point to Notre Dame being like worse than they actually are. Like, where are you seeing this? Where does that show up? I don't see where that shows up. And that's the thing for me was like when I choose Notre Dame in these games and I choose them to blow a team out, it's because I'm looking at the way Notre Dame plays and I'm looking at their numbers and I'm looking how they dominate. And it's just like, what do you want me to say? Like, they're playing teams and they're blowing out teams that other teams aren't blowing out. And that's just a fact of the matter, And so they've got Syracuse coming up. They'll probably blow them out. They've got Stanford coming up, probably blow them out. They're talking about Jeremiah Love. You got a couple more games with him. He's going to go a large way towards Notre Dame, probably blowing out the final 2 opponents. And you can see Jeremiah Love against Syracuse in the last regular home game of the season. If you sign up with H2 Pickleball, sign up with their Will House Pickleball Clinic that's going on the Friday before the Syracuse game. Get a discounted ticket. See Jeremiah Love play in his final home game of the regular season. And that's H2 Pickleball, founded by Notre Dame alum Todd Hill. He's teaming with fellow alums Jack Gibbs and Will Howes, who's a top 10 pickleball pro, to bring Notre Dame fans and Notre Dame Pickleball Crew League. Besides football, what better way to connect and engage Notre Dame fans than through pickleball? Membership is free, and members will have access to special pickleball events and discounts. The next event will be a Will House Pickleball Clinic on the Friday before the Syracuse game. Members can also get discounted tickets to that game, to the Syracuse game. Contact Todd at h2pickleball.com or call him at 574-339-5195 to join the league. Be sure to visit the H2 Pickleball facility in Mishawaka when you are in town. H2 Pickleball is located at 55801 Evergreen Plaza Drive in Mishawaka, Indiana. Justin ND Sniper says, assuming Notre Dame gets to the playoffs, what team does Notre Dame match up against regarding our strengths and weaknesses? They match up well. I would say they match up well against a team like Alabama that can't run. They can't run the ball. They have a pretty good defense, but if you can't run, you're only throwing it like that, then I think that's going to make it difficult. They do have good wide receivers. And so that's concerning on that front. And it's not like I think Notre Dame would dominate them, but like if you have something on offense you definitely can't do, I would gravitate to that. I think Texas Tech, I think they have a good defense, but I don't know that they have the offense to deal with Notre Dame. I think Oregon, I don't think Oregon is that good of a football team. USC can beat them. I don't know that they will because it's in Oregon and they just, Oregon institutionally knows how to win games like that. But I don't know that Oregon is really that good of a team. They got dominated by Indiana at home. They lost 30-20, and one of those 20, like 7 of those 20 is a pick six. Not a great offensive performance from Oregon. They didn't have a good offensive performance against Penn State. Penn State's obviously not a great team. Let me think here. Ole Miss is interesting. They have good pass rushers. They have good pass rushers. They can run the ball. See, that's the thing. Ole Miss can throw and run. They can run it. Keywan Lacey's good. So they're kind of scary in that respect. Georgia's Georgia, right? There's nothing special about them. Like special in terms of like there's nothing different about what they are, right? They're obviously good, and they'd be a tough matchup. A&M we don't have to go over. I don't think Indiana. I mean, Ohio State. I mean, they've got the wide receivers, man. That's tough. And a team has 2 wide receivers like that. It's just like they're very hard to stop, and they're starting to get better running the ball too. I'm not afraid of Oklahoma at all. Please, Notre Dame play Oklahoma. They have a good defense, but that offense, if you can't move the ball consistently against teams, then I'm not super afraid. So, but those teams that can throw and run, right? I mean, that's being able to throw and run is it's concerning, especially when you got multiple wide receivers who are really good. Who is this? Robert Hallecky says, who is this Chuck Todd guy? Jeez. This guy, man. This guy. It's funny how people like the guy did Meet the Press, you know, and like he steps out of his lane and he just makes this like the most asinine comment you've ever heard in your life. The guy's talking to like world leaders, like the most powerful people in the country he has on his show. And he comes in here with a college football take that like you'd find in like some random Twitter poster with like 100 followers who just like some goofball avatar. Oh, brother. Man, we're in a bad place. Blayberg says, Tolich and Burnham are definitely stepping up. Other than Jamie and Greg, nobody talks about Burnham. The young man is extremely good. He's good. He adds a lot. I'm telling you, it matters. It really matters. Michael Hahn says Chris Fowler hates Notre Dame. He was a USC fan growing up and never got over Notre Dame beating his alma mater in the Orange Bowl after the 89 season. Yeah, I think he went to Colorado. I think I read somewhere that he had said like he doesn't like Notre Dame. I think that was him. It might be someone else, but yeah, he's not good. Isaac K says absolute disaster from Notre Dame's men basketball. If anyone watched that today, I was following it a little bit at my daughter's game. They actually in the background of the field there was like I saw that the game was on. I wasn't watching it because my daughter was playing, but I saw that they were playing and I saw they were winning and I was like, oh, that's good. I mean, I saw the women got blasted by Michigan. That is not good. I got to talk to Dara soon. We got to do a show. 40 points. They lost by 40 points. No, can't have that. Can't have that. Eric ND 96 says numbers FPI, SP plus, FEI, F plus all say it's a top 5-6 team. The 2 losses have ended lower. These people are clowns. Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, I mean, all the metrics say they're good. All the metrics say they're good. And like the BCS kind of table thing says they're like 8th or 9th or whatever it might be. They're just a good team. Traders 7416 says, who is to say how good the SEC when they all vote for them in the top based off perception? Right. So you rank them all high and they all play each other and they all beat each other. And then it's like they all have 2 losses. And it's like, look at all these ranked wins. It's like, yeah, but they're ranked to start. You ranked them. You're the one that did the ranking. Robert Hallecky says, going to have to go back, but how are we feeling? Bama stayed above Notre Dame and Oklahoma jumps us, you think? I don't think Bama will. I think they'll go to 10, like the AP got them at. I think they'll go to 10. They have a weakness. Bama is not a complete team, and they've shown that over week in, week out. They cannot run the ball. The committee does not like teams that have defined weaknesses like that. They don't like that. So it's like, I think that's going to keep them down. Like, look, if Notre Dame had won close against Pitt, you know, maybe it's different. They blew them out. It was obvious to everyone. You know, I mean, it was 21-3 at one point. It was obvious to everyone watching that Notre Dame was clearly better and they were dominating them. So, it's just that's why I think Bama drops. I think Bama's going to be at 10. I don't think they're going to be out, but I think they're going to be at 10. I think they will be at 10. Trader 7416. Funny if ND would have swapped out Miami for FCS school like SEC does. Wouldn't be any concern. What's funny is everyone's talking about like Miami fans. Well, we should just not play Notre Dame. We should cancel the game. It's like, where would Miami be ranked if they didn't have the Notre Dame win propping them up? The only reason they are where they are is because they beat Notre Dame. If they had swapped out Notre Dame for which they can't do because it's part of the ACC agreement, but whatever. If they had swapped out, look at Jamie said on Twitter, they swapped out Notre Dame last year. Miami was supposed to play Notre Dame in 2024 and move the game. They swapped out Notre Dame last year. Did they make the playoff? They did not. It has nothing to do with Notre Dame. Miami is not in the playoff right now because they lost as 2-touchdown favorites, as double-digit favorites. That's why they're out. It has nothing to do with Notre Dame. Notre Dame is propping them up. If they had not played Notre Dame and they had played some other school who is not as good, they wouldn't be anywhere close to the playoff. What are you talking about? You can't lose twice. You lost twice. If you lose twice, the committee's going to look at you and say, maybe you're not good. Maybe you're not good. You shouldn't have lost twice. You shouldn't have lost to SMU, who's not very good. Shouldn't have done that. That was a bad idea. It was a bad idea to do that. Like Notre Dame did not mess up and lose to NC State. They did not mess up and lose to Arkansas. They did not mess up and lose to Pitt. They did not mess up and lose to USC. They didn't. They've just eight straight wins, double digits. And if they win the next time, it'll be 10 straight wins by double digits. They're dominating teams. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Just win your games. Win your games. Oscar says, if someone else beats Ohio State, then Notre Dame will win the Natty. They could. OSU is built in a way that it is hard for Notre Dame. Let's put it like that. I mean, they're built in a way it's hard for everybody. But if someone else was to knock them off, I think they have something. Ohio State has something that Notre Dame doesn't have. So, and they've got those wide receivers, and Notre Dame doesn't have. We saw it last year. We know how that goes. So, all right, I think I can end it there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today, hanging in with me much later than normal, 7 Eastern time. So we'll be back tomorrow with Power Hour with Mike and Jamie, and so then they'll do that, and then we'll see about Hit and Hustle because on Tuesday, my son has a school performance, so I've got to be there at the normal time. We'll do in the afternoon, or we'll just push it to Wednesday. So we might go Wednesday, Thursday this week, or we'll do Tuesday at 3 Eastern time. I got to talk to Jamie about that. So, all right, have a good rest of your Sunday, everyone. Thank you again for being on the show and for participating. It was really fun, and I'm glad everyone was able to join in on a much later time on Sunday. Hit that like, hit subscribe, notification bell. I'll talk to you guys. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow for Power Hour. Keep hitting and hustling.